In an interview full of reflection, BTS's Jimin opened up a side rarely seen by the public about his friendships, past mistakes, and the occasional guilt that still haunts. The moment came when he was asked about his creative process and emotional journey over the past few years, especially about how his closeness with Jungkook was shaped and tested by time. "Sometimes I feel unfair to him," Jimin said quietly, his eyes lowered as if weighing the words. "Jungkook always gives more than he should, and when I can't repay him with the same, I feel guilty. I can't look at it without remembering those moments." The sentence instantly made the atmosphere in the room quiet. The staff seemed to pause for a moment, knowing that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship wasn't just that of a coworker. The two have come a long way, from teenagers debuting together under tremendous pressure to becoming two of the most influential figures in the global music scene. Over time, their relationship grows, changes, and is tested. Amid hectic schedules, differing characters, and the pressure of public expectations, they still maintain a deep respect for each other. However, Jimin does not cover that behind the apparent compactness on stage, there is always room for introspection and remorse. "There was a period where I was busy with other things, and I didn't notice how hard he was trying," Jimin continued. "When I look back at old footage or backstage moments, I realize that Jungkook often tries to make the atmosphere lighter, even when he's exhausted himself. I feel guilty because I wasn't sensitive enough." For many fans, this remark of Jimin became a touching and frank moment. On social media, armies from around the world flooded the hashtags #WeLoveYouJimin and #ProudOfJungkook, highlighting how strong the two artists' bond is, while reminding the public that behind the grandeur of the stage and global achievements, they remain human beings with real feelings and vulnerabilities. "No one is perfect between us," Jimin added with a slight smile. "But what makes this relationship meaningful is that we continue to learn to understand each other. I want to continue supporting him, just like he always supported me unconditionally." This sentence describes the dynamic that BTS was founded on from the beginning: sincerity and mutual respect. Both Jimin and Jungkook have shown several times how friendship and cooperation can get through the harsh pressures of the entertainment industry. From intensive rehearsals to world tours, the two built a deeper understanding than just artistic collaboration. Observers of the Korean entertainment industry judge that honesty as shown by Jimin rarely appears in the midst of a celebrity culture full of image and control. "Jimin showed a form of emotional leadership," said a culture journalist from Seoul. "He does not speak from a position of superiority, but from the position of a human being willing to admit mistakes and learn." Meanwhile, Jungkook himself, in a separate interview, once called Jimin one of the people who understands him the most. When asked how he responded to Jimin's statement, Jungkook only replied briefly, "We already understand each other even without words." That reaction further reinforced the impression that their relationship was grounded in an emotional maturity that grew out of shared experiences, rather than from a contrived image of brotherhood. "We've both been through a lot, both on and off stage," Jungkook added. "If there's guilt, I think it's part of the process of getting better." For ARMY, this moment is not just a viral quote, but a reflection of the long journey of two figures who have grown together before the world. Many fans wrote messages of support, citing Jimin as an example that emotional honesty is not a sign of weakness, but rather strength. Jimin's words show that he is still human, with all his fear and love. One fan wrote on Twitter, "And that's what makes us love him even more." In a fast-paced and sometimes cold world like the global entertainment industry, this kind of honesty is becoming something rare and valuable. Jimin is not just talking about himself, but about a greater value: the importance of forgiving yourself and others, as well as valuing those who remain by our side even in the midst of the storm. The interview ended in a warm, albeit silent atmosphere. Jimin stared at the window, the afternoon sun shining on his calm face. "I hope he knows," she said quietly, "that I am proud of him, more than I can express." In that simple sentence, a deep meaning is stored. A sincere form of platonic love, a respect built from long years together, and a reminder that every relationship, no matter how strong, still needs space to understand, forgive, and grow together. BTS has proven that despite their global success, they still carry strong human values, and Jimin, through his words, has once again reminded the world that even the biggest stars have a tender side full of guilt, love, and hope. After the interview aired, various media in South Korea and internationally immediately highlighted Jimin's honest confession. Many rated the moment as one of the most emotional interviews in BTS history, not so much because of the sensation, but because of the rarely seen sincerity of a star of his size. In one sentence, Jimin showed the most human side of a superstar. The Korea Times wrote, "It uncovers a small wound that we often hide, a feeling of guilt for someone we love so much." In the online community, ARMY shared footage of the interview with various translations and personal reflections. Some even wrote short essays about how Jimin's words made them reflect on their own relationships. Jimin's remarks about guilt and appreciation for Jungkook are like a mirror to all of us, wrote one user on the global forum. He reminds us that true love is not always easy, but it is always worth it. One of the things that caught the public's attention was how Jimin, with all his fame, still dared to display vulnerability without worrying about people's views. In Korean entertainment culture, where imagery is often heavily guarded, this kind of action is considered a form of emotional courage. A cultural psychologist from Yonsei University assessed that Jimin's statement could be a transformative moment in the way the industry views the artist's honesty. It paves the way for conversations about emotional health, guilt, and more human relationships in an image-stressful world, she says. For his part, Jungkook did not issue a long response, but fans noticed how he looked a little different in several public appearances after him, calmer, more reflective. In one of the behind-the-scenes videos, a small moment was captured when Jungkook gently patted Jimin on the shoulder before they performed. That simple moment, although without words, made the fans interpret it as a form of mutual understanding between the two. Hashtags about both continue to stay at the top of global trends for days. Armies from all over the world, from Korea to Japan to Brazil and Indonesia, sent messages of support highlighting the importance of communication, empathy, and mutual respect. On Twitter, one person wrote, "Their friendship is not just about music, but about how two souls grow together, learn from mistakes, and keep each other strong." Jimin's statement also led to renewed discussion in media circles about the psychological pressure faced by K-pop idols. Many observers mentioned that such recognition could be a first step towards a more open and empathic culture in the entertainment industry. BTS didn't just change the music, wrote one pop culture columnist. They changed the way we talk about feelings. A few days after the interview went viral, Jimin had uploaded a short message on the fan community platform. He wrote, "I never thought my words would be so talked about. I just want to be honest. I think everyone has felt that way, the fear of hurting someone important." The message was closed with one simple sentence: "I am grateful that he always understands." Fans responded to the post with a flood of positive comments. Many expressed their pride in Jimin's emotional maturity, while others highlighted how the relationship between Jimin and Jungkook has inspired many to be more open with their own feelings. "What they show is not just friendship," wrote one fan. "This is a vivid example that sincere human relationships can survive even in the spotlight of the world." Over time, the interview became a kind of symbol of closeness between BTS members. Many fans began referring to it as Jimin's moment of reflection, as the honesty in his words was thought to represent the emotional journey of the entire group. On various occasions, other members were seen talking more openly about their feelings, creating an increasingly strong atmosphere of mutual support between them.